gangland enforcers broke the arms of an elderly news dealer this afternoon when he refused to share his week's receipts with them. Stacks of newspapers were tossed in the gutter as the thugs wrecked the business and made their getaway. Lunchtime crowds were paralyzed by the suddenness of the crime. Not a hand was raised in protest.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
This is Cheap Seat Reviews.
Willy-nilly, yeah.
Wouldn't you call that Dick Nilly?
Hoo-ah! I'm Robert De Niro. Hoo-ah!
It's not even just nipples, it's whole-ass breasts. You can see them.
Hello, and thank you for listening to Cheap Seat Reviews, the podcast that explores the Hollywood film industry for the greater good.
The greater good. Oh, well, that was really bad, Pacino, there.
That was
yeah.
Pacino?
I tried. What can I say? I'm in such heavy face makeup that I just cannot do what I usually do. So,
Okay.
my bad.
No,
Sorry,
it's
guys.
fine. You know what?
I'll be better.
I was totally in the moment. It sounded just like one of those characters from that movie that I don't know the names of. That was great. This is episode 390. 390. And tonight we're talking about Dick Tracy, the movie.
Whoa.
Dick.
Whoa, yeah.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah.
I know.
We're PG-13 here, buddy.
Listen, I mean, would you like me to say Richard Tracy?
There you go.
Okay.
It's to give it, his mother's given name. So his mom gave him that name. Might as well call him that.
Okay, Richard Tracy, Detective Richard. Isn't detective like short for Dick? So would he be like Dick Tracy?
I think he would. And if someone pissed him off and they called him a dick, it would be Dick.
I didn't expect that to happen. Okay.
You're welcome.
I knew there was going to be a lot of dick jokes on this episode, but I didn't expect it to be right out of the gate. I am Sean Allred. Well, yeah, but I mean, I figured it would be at least until we introduced our guests, and then
if Tess saw him, showering, and was angry at him, she would say, "You dick, you're Dick."
I lost count. It's amazing. Okay. I am Sean Allred, and joining me tonight is Andrew. When do we eat, Jimison?
That is the question that I ask most of the time when I'm around people. So that's very fair.
It is.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is fair. Sam.
What?
You can't believe everything you read online. Abe Lincoln said that. Vector.
Absolutely. And Sean.
Yeah.
I've got this box over here.
Yeah.
I'd like you to sit in. And never mind the sound of the concrete truck backing up to it. But do you mind sitting over here for a second?
Sure.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, nice.
Thank you.
That's very nice.
We'll finish the podcast and then I'll let you get out maybe.
Baby. Okay.
Yeah.
They called that taking a bath, right? That was called take a bath or something?
Take a bath. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
But no one ever really struggled in that thing.
Well, they were chained, right? They were all chained.
Well,
up.
but still, anybody that was in grave peril never really struggled to get out of grave peril in this movie.
You're not wrong. We're going to talk about that later. Making their cheap seat, and I do say there because we have two guests tonight, which is both fun and unusual. Jason only eats chili cold, and Ryan, who sits in Jason's attic and listens to his conversations from the Esoterica Cinema podcast.
Thanks a lot for having me. This is Jason, and this is my Al Pacino, since we're doing Al Pacino impressions.
That's so much better.
You got to make sure you go out with a big roar. That's the key to the Al Pacino is the ending. Big finish.
Nice.
That's
Yeah.
Pacino.
Tight work, buddy.
Oh,
Appreciate the
God.
representation. Way to bring it.
Oh, man, that was
Sam,
great.
I am
some
so
lessons here.
ashamed. I am so ashamed.
We like to do stupid impressions on our show as well. So anytime people bust them out, it's like, oh shit! Like we for our last episode of season 2, we do these comedy sketches on our show, and we basically did. I don't know if you ever saw those old '90s SNL sketches where they did the Pulp Fiction auditions. and they had all of the different celebrities trying to be like, so it's like Jack Lemmon trying out to be Chewbacca and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So we took that, and we took all these like characters that we do, and we had them try out for the movie that we watched on that episode, which was Michael Mann's The Keep. And so we've got Ryan, who does two of the greatest voices you'll ever hear in Owen Wilson and Werner Herzog doing lines from the movie. It's fantastic. It's wonderful. So yeah, all voices were about
Suffice it to say, Jason was biting his tongue waiting for that Al Pacino impression for you guys to get through your intro.
Oh yeah.
So just credit where due. He held that one tight for way too long.
That one.
It was bottling up for a while. Yeah.
Thank you, Ryan. Thank you. I appreciate that, Ryan.
I will say Sean does a great German accent.
Stop it.
Is that like creepy, high-pitched German, like Ray Fiennes in Schindler's List?
No, so I'm really bad at accents and impressions. The only way I can do it is if I hear it enough that I can just mimic the thing. So like what Sam was referring to is like the one or two times where I would quote the little pigs from Shrek. Where in Shrek 2 when they go, yeah, pigs in a blanket, like that's it.
Yeah, that's good.
But every accent from Sean ends up turning into pigs in a blanket.
I love that
That's how
so
good
much.
they are.
I almost spit my beer out when you did that, Sean. That's fantastic.
Oh, that's great.
But yeah, thank you for having us.
Oh my gosh, yes.
For better or worse, we'll see how this goes. But thank you very much.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm very excited for this, and
Long overdue.
Yeah,
and what a movie to have us on for too. I was so stoked that this was what we landed on.
So much fun, right? Because sometimes like a movie, even sometimes like a bad movie can be fun if it just leans into how bad it is, right? So the worst thing you want is like a boring movie, right? As long as there's something like some weird ass meat on that bone for you to pick apart, and this definitely had that.
Oh yeah.
So I
prosthetic meat by the pound, yeah.
So I do want to kind of give the reason why we landed on this movie, because there is a reason. I didn't pick this willy-nilly. Not that I would ever do anything willy-nilly, but except I think we kind of formed the podcast willy-nilly, but that's not
willy-nilly.
The point.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you call that Dick Nilly?
Yes.
More dick jokes all day long. All dicks all the time on Cheap Seat Reviews.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. This is gonna be fun.
That was our second choice for what we were gonna our tagline. So.
Yeah,
Legal turned us down, so we went with the other one.
We've had a lot of different possible slogans throughout the years. At one point, it was going to be quantity over quality, and then Dick Nilly, that's the other one. Oh my goodness! So again, the reason why we picked this movie is that we decided that April is going to be the month where we review all of the movies that we saw our first theater experiences. Right, the first movie.
Wow.
We saw in the theater, and Dick Tracy was Andrews.
Yeah.
Wow.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing this is back in 1990. How old were you in 90?
Okay, so so I got to give a little backstory. My mom was the supervisor of 3 McDonald's stores, and McDonald's had this big thing when Dick Tracy came out, and they had the little yellow hat and some Dick Tracy gear, I guess. And they got free tickets, like the store supervisors, managers, owners of the stores and stuff. They got free tickets to go see Dick Tracy. I was 5 years old. Now, should a 5-year-old see this movie? I don't know, and I don't think my mother knew at the time. But it was myself, my mom, and then one of my mom's friends, and another girl who was 5 as well. She was in my kindergarten class, and we all went to see this together. So we got a flat tire on the way to the theater. I remember, that's why this is such a memorable thing, because it's the first time I'd ever experienced a flat tire, and we still made it on time for the movie.
Yeah,
nice.
Flat Tire is also my favorite Dick Tracy villain.
Hey,
I like Flat Tire.
And I bet you he was one. Was back in the day. He's probably in there somewhere in a group shot.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
He has to walk with a limp or something, like his shoe is always untied.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like they all had a gimmick, and that was
They
his.
all had a gimmick.
So the rest of this month will be those types of movies. And next week, I'm just going to go ahead and tease it next week, because I usually forget what the movie is. But next week we're doing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2.
Here's an apple.
Wow.
That was for me.
Ninja rap, bro.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Vanilla Ice. Oh, I knew those words. So that was for me.
I've worked with Vanilla Ice a couple times actually. I've been on stage with him. I have
Awesome.
photo evidence of
Seriously?
such things.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Nice.
That's really
He did in fact do the ninja rap. I saw
That's
it
amazing.
live.
Oh,
I've seen
my
this
God.
live.
Ah.
If I
Wow.
go
Is
into
he
my hard
actually
drives, I think I
next
can find
guy?
some video evidence of this. Maybe I'll post it to your
Did,
Twitter.
Did you ever just run into him, like accidentally?
No, thank God. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Again,
Yeah,
No,
we're not-
Ryan, what's up?
We're not homies. Yeah, we're not on a
Yeah.
first name basis. I've just
okay.
worked with him. I've
Because
done
it would have been
video
really
work.
creepy, right, if you were to just
Stop
run
it.
into him willy nilly.
Yeah, I think everyone feels
Yeah.
that way in America.
Yeah. Okay.
It'd be funny if all of a sudden Vanilla Ice just keeps popping up every time Ryan turns around, right? Gets home and he's like, "Hey, buddy, what's up?" Right? Oh, I'm just gonna go inside now, right? And he
like
steps
the
inside,
creepy
closes the
shadow.
door, turns around.
Yeah.
Hi, friend.
Yeah, right. He's like trimming my hedges
Yeah,
awkwardly.
exactly. I made you breakfast, bro. Fresh
That's
sweet.
what we're calling it nowadays.
I almost don't even want to explain it, Sam. I just want to leave it there because there's a reason why Sam asked that very specific question. But I think I might just leave it where it is because this is funnier than what actually happened. Yeah,
Inside joke, I guess.
It's a. Now I have to tell it. Basically, I was
You
doing.
do.
I was doing an
I'd
event.
appreciate context at this point.
I was doing an event, and Ashley Judd was one of the keynote speakers, and she was coming off stage. I was walking backstage to start helping break down gear, and we turned the corner, and we physically bumped into each other. And
Nice.
I'm Miss Judge. I'm so sorry. That's okay. And then that was it. Like she just kind of scooted by and walked away. So I
9
told that
months
story.
later, she had a child. and-
So I told
2
that-
weeks later, Sean's body is covered in food because he won't shower
Right.
because she
Red
wants
hair.
to leave her essence on him.
She is a beautiful woman in person, and but
Yes.
very
I'm
short.
sure.
I mean, she's
Yeah,
like
she's lovely.
5'2" or something. But like,
Wait,
Oh, wow.
didn't she just about die on a safari?
oh, I don't know.
In
She
Africa?
did.
Yeah, that was her.
Right? That was
Yeah.
her.
That was
Yeah,
good.
she like broke her leg, and they had to haul her out
Yeah.
on a
Yeah.
makeshift gurney with sticks and rags and
Yeah.
stuff. It's crazy.
Very good story.
Sean, you might have injured that leg to start with, and then they just finally gave up.
I started
on the safari.
the fracture
Yeah.
and the safari finished it. That's crazy.
Oh man,
Yeah.
you're gonna get served papers tomorrow, and that's exactly what they're gonna be about.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay, moving on. So next week's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2. We're gonna
Yep.
finish the month off with The Little Mermaid with our special guest Lady Wan, who is probably our most returning guest.
Yep.
She gets her own movie. That's her first film. So we're gonna review The Little Mermaid, and then our last movie is Watership Down, because
Ugh.
Sam's parents are evil.
Yes, they are absolutely. Yeah.
What? Whose
Yeah.
first movie? That was Sam. That's your first
That was
movie.
mine.
Watership Down.
I'm sure
Yeah.
that it went like this. I'm sure the parents thought, "Oh, it's a cartoon.
It's a cartoon.
It's a cartoon.
It'll
Yeah.
be fine."
What could go
No.
wrong?
You know what they were like? They got together and they're like, you know what? Movies are evil. What could we do to organically turn him off movies for the rest of his life?
Yeah.
I
You know,
have
and
an idea.
I would not put that past my parents. Yeah.
They've doomed you to a life of podcasting.
That is exactly what they did, among other things. So, time for 5-word reviews. No, it's not. It's time to say, what is this movie? Dick Tracy, 1990s Dick Tracy. We've talked almost zero about the movie at this point, but that's okay. That might.
That happens when we're on episodes. We don't know why. It just does.
Well, I think also it might speak to the movie itself. I don't know. Maybe because we have found that if there's a movie we don't like, sometimes we don't talk about it very much. But maybe that's not the case here. So, Andrew,
Well, but maybe I was going to say, what about this movie might turn us off to it?
I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
What's it about? Yeah.
Are you asking me to read something?
Yes, please.
Okay, sorry.
This is legacy
trying
podcasting at its best right
Throw
here.
it to you.
Well, usually it comes a little more like in my face. That was pretty organic, which I'm proud of. I'm sorry I ruined the moment. All right. So, Dick Tracy, 1990. The comic strip detective finds his life vastly complicated when Breathless Mahoney makes advances toward him while he's trying to battle Big Boy Caprice's united mob.
Wait,
Okay.
Breathless Mahoney.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Why don't I remember Breathless Mahoney? I know Big Boy or whatever.
Madonna.
Madonna, yes.
Oh, okay. All right. Why? Okay.
That's
That's
just
that
how
makes-
that's
that
everybody's
makes
name
more
back
sense.
then in this film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even the attractive women had to sound like overweight gangsters.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that I would be considered breathless.
Yeah, right. Like some
When I went
guy
up
like
a flight of stairs.
It's winded. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like Tess is the only one with a normal sounding name, really, in the movie. Kind of think about it.
Yeah.
And that's fine. All right, so time for some 5-word reviews. And Sam goes first.
Oh, well, I don't know about you guys. I'm going to break the ice here, but I've got 2 of them.
All right.
Right. I've got Technicolor film noir wannabe.
All right.
And then my second one, and this is a little bit more of a real review, and that is colorful, star-studded dud.
Wow.
Mm.
I did not like this. This was a chore for me today, guys. I had a hard time getting through this movie. I appreciate the comic book aesthetic, but the story felt just boring. I enjoyed the only thing I really enjoyed in this movie wasn't the weird looking villains or the detective story, but good God, Madonna was hot back in the 90s. Holy cow, she was the best part of this whole film, and it was only because they didn't put her in prosthetic makeup. So I thought it was kind of slow. I think it could have even been trimmed another 10 minutes to make it a little more tight, but I thought it was. I didn't enjoy it. And I remember watching this back in the day. I think it was right after I was retired from my job. I went to this movie and saw it. And kept looking down at the gold watch they gave me during the thing. Because it just takes too long to get anywhere. And it's silly. And I also have to mention, this felt like a Batman movie without the cool Batman stuff. Even the music alone,
Well,
I swear, did Elfman do this movie?
Yeah,
music?
this is
Oh,
Elfman.
absolutely.
Yeah, this is Elfman as shit.
All right.
Yeah, this
well,
is-
then there's
And this
some
is-
recycled stuff there going.
Yeah, this is right on the heels of
It's
Batman.
the score after Batman, literally.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Honestly,
Right, so
it's like the stuff he had left over.
Yeah, this is the
totally.
stuff that was on the cutting room floor from Batman. And I thought the soundtrack was bad. Maybe not so much the Elfman stuff, only if he could have made it sound a little different. But the old 1930s, 40s, whatever it was,
You know why it sucked?
music was bad. What was that?
It was Sondheim.
I was gonna say, you know who wrote that music, right?
Really? Are you serious?
Yeah.
No, really.
Yep.
Oh my
One
gosh.
Mr. Stephen
Well-
Sondheim did the Madonna songs.
I feel really bad, but I didn't like it. And I just,
Which is so funny because it won an Oscar.
right?
Wow. I think didn't it win like 3?
Yes. For
Yeah,
best
that's
music,
insanity.
original song,
Right. Yep.
best makeup, and best art direction.
Yeah.
Which
So
I'll give it 2 of the 3. I agree. I didn't really care for the songs, but
Yeah,
other
but the way they were used, it just didn't feel right. It didn't feel quite in the zone, in the set, in the background. It just didn't feel right. And I've seen comic book movies nowadays. Of course, you've got all this CGI, all this extra computer work that you can put into it. So I could see that they were trying to get like I mentioned before, the Technicolor color set out there. But I just think they could have done a better job with it. So I wasn't all impressed with it, folks.
Okay, that's fine.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fine. So now usually we do a guest. We'll flip a coin. Jason goes next.
alrighty. So for firstly, just a little bit of color here. Have not seen this film since I saw it. I don't think I saw it in theaters. I think I probably saw it like when it came out on video shortly thereafter. Did not like it at the time. Remember thinking it was very scary and very unappealing, and never saw it again. I actually did enjoy it this time around, despite the fact I recognize there's a ton of problems with it, and we'll go into those things that pulled me through it. My 5-word review for this film: horny live-action adult cartoon.
Yeah.
I think that this film was it was the weirdest thing that it was packaged and sold and presented as a family film, because this film is horny And
Oh yeah.
it's like, I can think there's one line in particular. It's the ice cream line where it's like so far beyond what's acceptable for a family film, and we'll get there later. But yeah, this was like, again, it kind of felt like almost like Cool World, if you guys remember that, like shit, where it was like, it was kind of sold to kids because it had this cartoon element, but it was very much not for kids. That's exactly how I felt about this.
I swear at one time I thought Madonna was naked.
She was. You
she
see
totally
her
was.
breasts.
Yeah.
Like in the quote lingerie that's really just
see-through.
not even there.
Yeah.
Like
It's
you could
just
totally see
sheer
her breasts.
material.
Yeah.
Which again,
This
I'm
was
not
original.
complaining if it's, in a certain context, but yeah, if I was like, hey kids, I don't know that I'd really want to see Madonna's breasts out there.
This was originally it was going to be released under Disney titles, right? And then because it was so racy, it then moved on to their what's the Tombstone?
Touchstone. Touchstone. In Miramax, they own both of those. But yeah,
Tombstone's a pizza. You know where I feel.
Yep. When do we eat? Andrew says as he turns off his mic. All right, Ryan.
I'm going to kind of join both of these together and say Disney made 90s dads Batman. Because that's kind of what it felt like. It felt like Batman for dads. Like, hey, it's, do you like comic books from when you were a kid, but also naked boobs? Cool.
Right? And like the wife can't even get mad at you, right? Like, what, honey? I'm here with the kids. You wanted us to be here.
It's a comic book.
Get mad at Madonna.
It's nothing. Don't worry about it. We'll talk when we get home. Yeah, I actually really did enjoy this movie. I think it did suffer for a lot of the reasons you guys already mentioned. I won't disagree with any criticisms of this film. I think it's a personal experience. You either like it or you don't. You guys are probably going to go through the same thing with Ninja Turtles 2: Secret of the Ooze next week. So buckle up for that. I will say where I think it did suffer is the story. This is from the writers of Top Gun. I don't know if you guys saw that, and Turner and Hooch. So they came out swinging with Top Gun, then they kind of went down to Turner and Hooch, and then they did this film, and then they relegated themselves to things like Anacondas, and Flintstones Viva Rock Vegas.
Okay, so who had real quick? I'm sorry to interrupt. Can somebody please do John Voight? The Jungle Can Kill You in 1,000 Ways. Somebody step up, please.
Yeah.
I don't even remember the delivery of that line.
The only thing I can do in that movie is after he gets barfed up by the snake is do the wink.
Your listeners can't hear the wink.
I know. My favorite.
That's going to work great for a podcast.
Oh no, it's amazing. My favorite though from Anaconda is the scene after the anaconda eats the British commentator guy. They didn't film a shot of the boat leaving the waterfall, so they just reversed the shot. And so the water is going backwards.
The waterfall goes up.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Dude, I actually have fond memories of seeing that with my buddy Josh in a $2 theater in Eagle Rock with Spanish subtitles.
Oh wow.
Yes.
That's amazing.
That's where we learned actually a couple swear words in Spanish. Because we heard them and saw them and went, oh!
I tell you though, Anaconda is one of those movies. It's like Tremors, right? If it's on, I kind of just stick with it.
Yeah,
I have to see the horribleness of it. So
yeah,
the jungle can kill you in 1,000 ways.
1,000 ways.
It's more breathy though. He's got a little more of the breath. I can't really do anything, but he's done.
The jungle can kill you in 1,000 ways.
Yeah, that's
there you go. That's closer. Yeah.
Yeah, and my daughter is really weird and hot. Yeah, I'm looking at the writers of these guys, man. You're not wrong. Like Top Gun, Legal Eagles, Turner and Hooch, Dick Tracy, Anaconda, Flintstones, Viva Rock Vegas.
Wow.
Anacondas 2, and then that's kind of it until they get credit for Top Gun Maverick because the characters are based on their work.
Yeah. So basically, they hit it big in the 80s, and then they got hooked on either cocaine or lewds, and then just completely flatlined after that.
Yeah.
So.
Well, in all fairness, this script was just leftover material from Turner and Hooch. It was
so instead of the kid, like the dog is the kid part, right? Is what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, he doesn't eat a lot.
I was just gonna say they had their entire lives to, write those for that first one, right? It's like the sophomore slump, right? Yeah. And then all of a sudden, like one a year, they've got to crank out. Come on, who can do that?
Yeah, no one. That's who. Andrew.
All right, I have a couple of 5-word reviews that aren't 5 words. Actually, the first one is. Okay. 30 seconds, no more dick. 30 seconds, no more dick. That's what she said. Sorry, I just wanted to say that. That is 5 words, though. So I have comic book movie Schumacher tried to recreate.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I never thought of that.
I thought about Schumacher several times watching this film.
Yeah, when I remember the atrocity that is Batman Forever and Batman and Robin, when I saw this, I saw Schumacher's brain functioning as he watched this movie, saying, I could recreate Batman and do it that way and fail miserably. However, I don't think that they failed making this. I really don't, because I think that this is, as Jason said, it's kind of it's an adult cartoon, and it's done well to be live action people in a cartoon. If you think about just the mob characters and their makeup, you said this movie won an Oscar for makeup, and that's inspired our top 3 at the end of the show today. But for the time period, for 1989 or whatever that was, I'm sorry. Do you guys hear a harmonica playing?
Yeah.
I thought it was an accordion, to be honest.
That would be my child who's supposed to be asleep.
Oh. Dude.
So anyway.
I'm disappointed he's playing an instrument and signaling it to you.
Yeah. I'm going to have a chat. But anyway.
How to get away with it.
We don't play harmonicas in this house. We play at least some sort of low brass or
that's right.
Yeah.
But I do have a little nostalgia for this movie, to be honest, because it is the first thing I ever saw in a theater on the big screen. But after watching it again, I kind of had the opposite reaction of you, Sam.
Oh, really?
I like this movie, and I think that, and the story is right, Ryan. I mean, the story is not great, as you said, but the way that it's done, I think if that one element were better, I think if the story were better, this would be a really great film.
I agree.
Because I like the use of the primary colors, just like you would have on a comic strip back in the 1930s. This comic strip debuted in 1931. And so you're not going to have all the colors that we use in comics today, because they didn't have that technology to put it on the page. So I think that they really took and translated the comic strip to the screen. And I think they did a pretty good job with it.
I do too.
Right on.
Definitely, man.
I don't want to steal anyone's thunder, but just, I hope that we do get to a point. I'm sure Jason's locked and loaded for this as well, because we think the same way. But this is stacked in talent behind the camera.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The people that worked on this film, to all of our credit, when we're talking about we like this film and it's a quality film and this and that, the writers, obviously, we've talked about that. But just, I'm not going to go down the list yet. We'll get Sean's top, 5 words and whatnot. But it is worth mentioning that they swung for the fences on this thing. And so in a lot of ways, to your point, I do think it landed. I think that, a lot of these people did their job very well.
And I do wonder how many, sorry, I just quickly, I do wonder how many of these actors wanted to do these roles because it was a part of their childhood. Because if you think about it, the people that played in this movie now are in their 80s, a lot of them, or up there. And they would have been, children or very, very young in the 1930s, 40s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it was a passion project of Beatty's. I mean, it took him, he was trying to get it off the ground for a long time. And the one thing I will just say as well before we go to Sean too, which is like, Sam, you're absolutely right. Like the story does not work in this. And frankly, I think it never it was trying to find a story as it went on, and it never found it. And that's why about halfway it starts to like drag for me a little bit. But I will say that I like to remind people that like a film is a pie chart, right? It's very much like your character creation at the beginning of your RPG, right? You only have so many skill points that you can put into all these different avenues, right? And so if you've got, you know, a ton of points in sound and a ton of points in art design and a ton of points in acting, like you may not always have a ton of points left over for that story element, right? But that doesn't discount the fact that all the other elements are dope. So, you know, that's kind of the way I look at it.
If you look at the star list, the actor list in this movie, you would think, holy crap, without naming the movie and without the story, when you see things like Robert De Niro, Dustin Hoffman, even Madonna and Warren Beatty, you really that is an incredible cast, and I think it does service the movie well. I just didn't like it. Just
sure.
He meant Al Pacino.
Sam.
He meant Al Pacino, not Robert De Niro.
Robert De Niro is not in this film.
What? Are you sure?
Yes.
Neither is Joe Pesci.
It was Al Pacino and Dustin Hoffman are the two.
Yeah. Sam is usually either at best bad with names and at worst just makes shit up. And then just stays with it for the bit, right? So,
hey, look, I'm not certain De Niro wasn't in this film. People just kept showing up. Halfway through this film, Dick Van Dyke shows up out of nowhere. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Sweeping
what
chimneys
is
and
this?
crap.
Yeah, it was because we're watching this is one of those movies that gives a lot of the credits at the beginning, and we get this great kind of cartoon-made sweeping shot of the city, and all these actors are going like, oh, Mandy Patinkin, we just saw him in Princess Bride. And,
Princess Bride.
Oh, and that's Dick Van Dyke is in this. I don't remember him being in this, and that guy is in this. Like oh my gosh,
Paul Sorvino, right? Like,
right.
Paul Sorvino.
Yeah,
Dustin Hoffman's coming off of Rain Man, crushing.
James Kahn.
James Kahn.
James
right?
Kahn.
Yes.
Yep, there you go. Yep.
Yeah, Kathy Bates is in this movie.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't pick her up. She
Yeah,
must have a big
she's
part.
the stenographer.
Yeah. Yeah. Mrs. Green. Like, I mean,
So like, were favors called in? I mean, it just seems like it's a crazy
Seriously.
coincidence that there's so many big name actors in this thing.
I mean, James.
Well, it was Disney's tentpole. I mean, it's hard to remember now, but this was their summer blockbuster. Like, that's what this was designed to be. Like you talked about, it had the McDonald's sponsorship and everything. And then they just came out with this very bizarre adult product that, like, from what I understand, it actually, like, it didn't lose money, but it didn't provide them the
I'm looking right now.
like franchise that they needed, right?
Well,
It was
I mean,
like
so it grossed. The budget was about $47 million, and it grossed 162. So in
Yeah, now
1990, that's not bad.
And you've got to figure that because it was a summer movie with the sponsorships and everything, like double that for marketing costs, right? But you're still
That's
at
what I
least
read.
breaking even.
But look, I might be a little, I don't know, I'm not here to compare and contrast ages here, but I do think I'm a couple years older than a few of you guys. I was 10 or 11 when this dropped. And I remember this movie very well. It was on all the McDonald's cups. It was something that I really wanted to see. I remember the Dick Tracy watch toy. I wanted that really bad. They marketed this to me personally, and I wanted to see this film. I was all about it. I was coming off of Batman and going into Ninja Turtles, and somewhere in between was Dick Tracy, and I was going to eat it up with a spoon. Let's do this. Sears catalog, Christmas, 1990.
Well, and isn't it funny that we all now are pretty much Dick Tracy with our phone or watches that can talk to us, and we could talk to it.
Getting interrupted during our children's school performance and having to step out and take care of business.
You mean when you're at the opera, you get a call, you leave, you go to a whole different part of town, you look at a crime scene, you go back, and she's still singing the same note? Then
right back in. Yep, because Dick Tracy works efficiently.
Oh,
Yep.
I love that gag. Okay, it's time for my 5-word review. All right.
Yes.
Let's hear it.
5-word review. I got a couple of them, which this is actually only 4, so I'm going to give Andrew one. Comic brought to life. Just because it's not a comic book, it's like the comic strips. I can do that. I'll give 5. Comic strip brought to life. But my main one is tropey, over the top, fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
I had a blast with this movie. Oh my gosh. I went into this thing being kind of grumpy about it. I was also just, for whatever reason, just kind of grumpy yesterday. I don't really know why. I had a fine day at work and whatever, but I was like,
Just time of the month.
yeah, maybe it is. Maybe I am. It could be very possible.
Menstruating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I sit down to watch this thing, and I'm also kind of annoyed that I have to watch it with ads. But again, whatever, it's fine. And
You didn't have to. You could have paid the $4.
I
Let's
was
just
not
get that
going
out of
to
the
pay.
way.
Cheap Seat Reviews, the podcast that doesn't pay for shit. So
Yeah.
I was in as soon as we got into the cartoon cityscape. I was like, oh, this is what this is. Because I'd forgotten. I'd seen this thing when I was a kid, and I watched it a bunch of times. Literally, here are the two things I remember from this movie going into it. I remember the ridiculous fight scene at the end with the Thompsons and the cars and whatever. I remember that scene, and I remember Lips eating those oysters or whatever.
It's so gross.
It's
that was
so
like far
gross.
beyond the most disgusting part of the movie.
Because again, I was young enough that I didn't care about Madonna, so I don't remember her. Like I didn't remember her sex appeal because I didn't care.
Yeah.
So as I'm watching it this time, I'm like, ooh, that's a lovely Madonna there. She's very attractive. But like all of the other set pieces, I loved this thing. My wife, I again watched this with my wife. She says, why does everyone look weird? And I said, because that's how they were drawn back in the 30s and 40s to distinguish them from just Dick Tracy. They had to use a little, they didn't have a lot of real estate to work in the comic strip, so they have to make them look weird. And I loved that everyone looked weird. I loved it. I did. I thought it was just so well done. I was in this world. Yes, the story is dumb. Like it really doesn't make sense the whole point, right? Like I don't understand why she plays both sides. Like she frames him, but then she also helps him. Like either she doesn't know if she loves him or not. So she I never quite understood her plan. But also I kind of stopped caring. I'm just like, you know what? Let's just go for the ride. The trope of the two detectives that hang out with Dick Tracy the whole time, all they do is just repeat each other. They're basically Tweedledee and Tweedledum. Like,
right.
I don't know why it worked for me. Like normally that kind of shtick just annoys the hell out of me. It worked. I was laughing every time they would repeat themselves. I chuckled. I don't know why.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and I love that they also just give it to you right out of the gate with all of the grotesque people. Like they're like, oh, we're 3 minutes into the movie. Here's a poker game with all of them sitting around here. And then you've got my favorite is the guy who has the tiny face inside of the giant one. Like, what the hell is that? Why does he look that way?
Yeah.
And then you've got this dude who has Michelin Man face. Like he's just constructed of rows of tire rubber or something. And it's like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
Yeah. This today would be completely canceled because if you called somebody prune face, you would be shut down.
Yeah. No, you're right. I mean, I don't know what it is. This movie worked for me. The style worked. What I love about it, and Jason, I think I'm piggybacking your point, is that Warren Beatty said, "This is what we're going to do, and we're going to go all in." They committed to the bit. Right, This movie is full on extra the entire movie, and I don't know why, but it totally worked for me this time, and so I had a blast with this. I'm so glad we watched this, and now I'm a little scared for next week because I'm gonna probably watch that Turtles movie and go, ugh, this is so bad. So I don't know. We'll find out, but yeah, this totally worked for me.
Yeah.
Future you won't be wrong. Future Sean is going to nail that on the head because it is terrible.
By the way, did you guys see who shot this film?
This
was shot by a gentleman named Vittorio Storaro, who is an Academy Award-winning cinematographer who shot Apocalypse Now, among many other things.
Yeah, when you were talking about behind the scenes stuff, I was like, oh, let's see who he's talking about. And you're right. I mean, my gosh.
Yeah. Well, I will say that a lot.
It's insane.
Yeah. As I was watching this, the camera scene where you go to the club the first time, you get this far away scene of the city, and then it draws close up on this one building where the Club Ritz is happening.
Yeah.
And you see a car drive, and I thought, as cartoon as they made the rest of the city, you get here and you feel like it's real life, and but yet it's still very cartoonish.
They made that seamless.
Yeah.
And I love too that, like, if you look, like, you can correct me if you know this to be wrong, but as I was watching, I believe they used a lot of painted backdrops. That was it looked like, right? And that's basically like 1920s surreal German expressionism, right? Like they did that in the cabinet of Dr. Caligari to give it this crazy surreal feeling. So when they're able to take those techniques and use them with like modern day, what at the time are modern day techniques, again, it feels like a living cartoon, better than something that would come 10 years earlier and say like Sin City, which I love Sin City, but you can tell that Sin City is computer, right? It's the actors very clearly feel like they're up against a green screen. Whereas when you use these like painted backdrops, it's the same thing as, using, actual puppetry for your characters instead of CGI, right? There's a tangible quality that gets picked up and transfers through that lens. And I love that.
Yeah. The only scene that kind of took me out of it was the train scene.
I'm glad you brought
where
that up.
he's chasing Kid through the train yard. And it was very, that's a hard scene to do in the format that they did it. Because it wasn't as seamless as everything else.
Well, you also can't throw a kid in front of a train.
Exactly. That's what
you
I was trying
can't
to say.
Well, 1990s they probably.
By the way, was that kid from Hook? Or
yeah,
Mrs.
that's the boy from Hook.
Oh yeah. That's Charlie Korsmo. That's also from Can't Hardly Wait, Jason, one of our favorite movies.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
God, I love Cant. I love Can't Hardly Wait. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
I
got
had such a crush on Jennifer Love Hewitt forever.
I got grief about that. I appeared on another show on Monday, in which my job was to attack American Pie.
Yes,
which I hate. But I mentioned, that a better version of that movie is Can't Hardly Wait, and the two guys on the show are like, "Yeah, but that movie's trash too." And I'm like, "Well, no, it's not."
No, it's
but
not.
I liked it. But
yeah,
apparently
I'll die on that hill with you, Sean.
I'll be there too. We'll all stand up there.
Well, damn it, I could have used you Monday.
It's also a fun connection because Ryan and I went to film school, and he actually shot my film that was very much sort of like my take on a very Can't Hardly Wait style setup where it was at a party and everything. So like, I think, do you think of that too when the movie comes up, Ryan?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Cool.
So this kid,
I still make fun of Sean when he wears our podcast T-shirt. Around about wearing your own T-shirt. You just can't.
I have no shame.
If we don't promo ourselves, who will?
Right.
In all fairness,
podcasters.
In all fairness, I wear this every Wednesday when we record, because my wife won't let me wear it. No, I'm kidding.
No, we hung around 3 weekends ago. We were all together for a friend's birthday, and I wore my Cheap Seat Reviews hoodie the whole weekend, and I didn't care. So the kid that we're talking
you're proud.
about. Oh yeah,
as you should be.
Hey Sean, where can you find a hoodie like that?
Oh, you can go to our store.
I wanted to get one.
Yeah, you go to our store. If you go to CheapSeatReviews.libsyn.com, there's a link for our store, which is TeePublic, and you can go buy our hoodie. I don't know if they're on sale right now, but whenever you listen to this, it might be. Just go check it out. If it's on sale, go buy a hoodie. It's great.
You can also visit the Cheap Seat store in the Concord Mills Mall.
No, we're not there.
Yeah,
in Concord, North Carolina. Check that out.
So the kid, like we just mentioned, I just want to. This is interesting. So this is a kid, and I applaud him. Right. So this is a kid actor who does Men Don't Leave, and then Dick Tracy, and then something called Heat Wave TV movie. What About Bob as one of the kids.
Oh, that's another good old comedy.
Apparently,
Dreyfuss and what's his name hated each other.
Yeah,
in real life.
Murray,
Yeah.
So
that story where he like screamed in his face, "You were tolerated," and walked away. I love that.
The Dr. Hook, hang in there, Andrew.
Go ahead.
Can't Hardly Wait. 7 years later, becomes a teenager, and then takes 20 years off of acting. and then comes back in 2018 to do something called Chained for Life. He was hair director, and that's it. Just those 8 films. But you know what? If you don't want to do it, man, don't do it. Like, do it. Like, good for you for getting out. I mean, he probably still gets a check for Hook every now and then. You know?
Oh yeah.
Oh god.
So good for him.
It's
What
on
were you going to say,
TBS
Andrew?
a lot. No, I was going to say he was born in 78, so he was like 11 when this thing went down, right? Or probably 10 when it was filming. And you know, for a kid, a 10-year-old, I have an 11-year-old and an 8-year-old. They're around the same age, and I think of them trying to do something like this. I mean, this kid's a good actor at that age, really good.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, he's on the same level as Macaulay Culkin in my mind as far as child actors go.
Yeah.
I'm always
was
impressed with
supposedly
like
up for this
child
role.
actors. Just like anytime kids, and honestly, anytime, any performance, dance, sing, go out there, tell jokes, whatever. It's like, dude, when I was 10, like I wouldn't even speak up at the adults party, let alone like go on stage and command an audience. Like, bravo, little kids.
Yeah, sorry. I'm just looking at this cast. It's just incredible. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it now. So at one point there's a scene where I can't remember where it was, but a couple cops just randomly walk up and he goes, "Everything okay?" And he goes, "Yeah, we're fine." And then they leave. But one of those cops was Cole Meany, who I know from Star Trek: The Next Generation. So he's our Star Trek connection for this episode. But there's so many times where my wife would go, "Hey, I know that guy," and I go, "Oh, that's James Kahn," and she go, "I don't know who that means. What that means?" I said, "The dad from Elf." She's like, "Oh my gosh, yeah, you're right." You know, and it was
Charles Durning shows up out of nowhere, the guy that wanted Kermit the Frog's frog legs in the Muppet movie, and he was the police chief in The Sting.
Forgot about that one.
Yeah.
Oh, is he the like heavily accented cop guy? Like, oh, we gotta go now, Sonny.
Yeah, absolutely. That's Charles Durning.
I love the fact that the police chief is relegated to babysitting Dick Tracy's not kid. You know, like, "Oh, Dick will be back in just a little while. Just come here and have some Cheerios or something. Have a donut." Like, what is happening? You're the chief of police. Like,
That's the superhero archetype, though, dude. It's the same thing with Batman. Dick Tracy and Batman both. They're like, "Hey, yo, cops, take a seat. I got this."
yeah, but Batman's
Yeah,
not
that's
gonna
true.
ask. Batman's not gonna ask Commissioner Gordon to come and babysit his nephew. You know, like,
I don't know that.
So can we talk real quick about the sound? I mean, we've got several sound guys here today.
yeah,
It was very clear, and this is the one thing that really bothered me, aside from the story, which the story didn't really bother me, but thinking back on it now, it's not a great story. But the sound did catch me a couple times, because there were moments that things were clearly not recorded at the time they were used in the movie, or they were recorded in a studio as opposed to recorded there on set, and it was very obvious to me. I don't know if it was for you guys.
You mean like from like doing like ADR?
Yeah.
Something like that? Yeah. I mean,
nothing that stood
not
out.
any more than anything else.
Yeah, nothing that stood out as like offensive. We've highlighted some offensive moments on this episode, on this podcast, but the only stuff that stuck out for me for sound design was the over exaggerated sound effects. But that's like, if you don't have a punch that sounds ridiculous, then I think you're doing it wrong. But
Yeah, the punches were, but again, for an adult cartoon,
yeah, it's supposed to be.
I think it fits.
I mean, the fact that at one point he punches 12 men with one punch is kind of ridiculous, but also kind of awesome. You know, like that montage. Oh crap, we did.
I was about
we did have a. We had a montage.
Yes.
So
we had
Excuse-
several.
I was gonna say you did not have a montage. You had 1, 2, 3 montages in a 100-minute movie.
Yeah,
which is ballsy.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. We have
That's a choice.
the kid,
Including back-to-back montages.
Yeah.
Again, ballsy choice.
Yeah, we have the kid joining the family montage, and then we have Dick Tracy being a good cop montage, and then Dick Tracy is off the streets, and therefore crime is king montage. Like, I mean, oh my gosh! Like,
didn't we also have one where he's like, after that, where he's like, no, I'm sorry, I'm
No, it's fine.
confused. Yeah, It's the good cop montage I was thinking of.
But like, it's crazy to think that Dick Tracy gets pulled off the streets and the bad guys are now just killing cops in the street, like openly. It's like open warfare all of a sudden.
Open season.
Okay.
It just.
I have to say, these cops are the worst cops ever, other than Dick Tracy.
Yeah, that's one of my notes. Yeah.
Breaking the law themselves in terms of how to arrest people. You've
And just
also
bad
got
cops.
Dick Tracy. He literally was caught in a room with a gun in his hand and a dead body next to him. You don't just get to go away after that, or you don't get out of jail for free. So yeah.
But it's
And
the
the-
30s.
again, it was
it's the
shortcuts.
1930s. There was a lot of
Yeah.
look the other way, pal, kind of stuff. You know, like.
And the scene where his cop buddy jumps onto the seesaw that he's created, that's because you never really come back to that. He's kind of the hopping man of the episode, I
he's
guess.
still
He's
there.
stuck in that room, isn't he?
He's
still
stuck
there
in that room, and you never really get any resolution from that. But the guy doesn't even hesitate to think, "Yep, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to jump on this seesaw. I'm not going to find a rope or a ladder or anything. I'm just going to jump on this, and I'm going to get stuck here."
But it was a cool shot, him breaking back through the glass and all that stuff. But you're right. It would have been nice for him to go, "Hey, I'll send somebody up for you in a little bit. Like, take a nap." You know, you're right. Like, to this day, that man is still in that room. I feel bad for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have loved to see him land and like both of them like twist an ankle or be like, "Oh, God, son of a, oh,
But
darn!
that's not how this movie's gonna work.
Why
You know
did
that.
we do that?" Yeah,
I also
that's
think
legitimately what would have happened. So
I also think it's funny because you brought up the punches earlier with regards to the sound design, and I also think it's hilarious, like how big a windup Dick Tracy takes every single time he swings. Like there's no jabs, there's no quick. Everything is like reach all the way back behind you and lunge your entire body forward through the other person. It's fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Good.
Very
good.
Popeye.
Yeah.
Yes.
Lunging punches is all he knows. Puts his
Yeah.
body into it.
That's how you knock out 12 guys with one punch. Or make another guy, you
Absolutely.
uppercut another guy, and he does a full backflip. That was pretty amazing.
He's given like 7 solid seconds of being exposed and vulnerable while he's winding up and cocking and shit, dude.
All right, I'm going to cook through a few more last-minute notes here before we move on to our next thing here. Let's see. I did laugh that, like, Big Boy really has so much free time running a multinational or multi-layer syndicate that he has time to run rehearsals.
oh my God,
I did kind of hate that scene.
De Niro was
He's not only the mob boss, he's also the choreographer.
The choreographer, right?
The creative consultant.
I
Yeah.
think De Niro went a little too far there in terms of it. Just
Again,
I really wish sometimes he would
He's on
be
purpose.
take a scene off or something. It just felt too much.
Yeah, at this point, it's on purpose. I was curious, is like, did
Hooah! I'm Robert De Niro. Hooah!
Dude, that would be great. What if it was actually Robert De Niro doing the best Al Pacino impression you've ever
Oh, that would be the best.
I wouldn't mind that.
that'd be great. I did write, "Oh no, not Dick Van Dyke." That's sad that he was the bad guy or a bad guy.
Another Dick. How many dicks we got in this movie?
A lot. It's just a big old bag
Dicks
of
and
dicks.
Dykes? Man. Come on.
Yeah.
Just a bag of dicks.
This-
Did they bomb everyone's car? Like, did they set bombs for everybody's car just in case more people got up, or did they just expect James Caan to leave? Because
you
you know what I'm saying?
That's
Like,
a good question.
It feels
It was
like
very convenient.
yeah.
Also, if I'm James Caan, how afraid am I of getting in a car at this point?
Right. Yeah.
I'm going to get gunned down going back for the cannoli. I'm going to get blown up going into a car. That's how you kill James Caan, is in a vehicle.
Yeah.
That's why he only flies, actually. I don't know if you know there's used to get in a car is to fly everywhere.
Nice.
That's why he didn't get in Santa's sleigh in Elf. He was a little scared of that whole thing.
Yeah.
There you go.
Let's see. I mentioned that. So many bullets. I did write that. So many bullets.
So many bullets. And yeah,
At that end of the sort of end of movie shootout or whatever.
Yeah, like those,
that was Arnold worthy. That was brilliant.
Yeah, those drum magazines, I think they actually hold 45 or 50 rounds, and there must have been 2,000 bullets in that gun. It was pretty great.
Was that flat top with the Tommy gun in the very end with the car exploding behind him and the street was wet and he was just going like full Scarface? That was a cool shot.
Yeah,
I really actually apprecied that last scene.
Well, and to my little friend.
Right.
And Dick Tracy had that shot too, right? Like he's backlit by fire. And he's firing a machine gun.
There's some cool stuff going on. They cared nothing about intention for lighting. I mean, in your the people at home can't see
motivated
this, but,
lighting. What's that word? Motivated.
Oh man, yeah. It just like splashes of bright, vibrant greens and reds, just on the street or on the walls or out a window. It was beautiful. I love stuff like that.
I mean, I like when No Face is trying to highlight that she has no face. The light behind her is like bright pink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
but everything matched, like their wardrobe and the lighting and the background. It was like Wes Anderson met Dario Argento. Is kind of what I kept thinking.
Well, like again, I think it goes back to the original comic strip, only having those primary colors. That's what they were.
The aesthetic.
But seeing that on film is kind of you're just not used to it, you know. Like I said, unless you're watching the Grand Budapest Hotel or something. Or Suspiria.
And that's what lends itself to that like cartoon feel. Also lends itself to that are the different wipes. Not since Star Wipes has a director been so liberal with the style of wipes he uses.
Yeah.
You get the Star Wipes, you get the Looney Tunes wipes, you get the side wipes. Wipe the shit out of that movie.
Yeah, you got baby wipes and
baby wipes.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. Ass wipes.
The last thing I wrote was Sam mentioned it earlier. Like people seem to be really calm when they're in peril. I mean, she's being strapped to a giant gear, and he's pontificating about having a plan, and she's just okay, like fine.
Yeah, she did kind of just lay down and take that. Too.
Yeah,
she didn't put up a fight or anything.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of weird. Like I know, her whole purpose is just to be damsel in distress, but not a. Scream or you're not going to get away with this or nothing. Just I'm going to take a nap. It's fine.
Mondays, am I right?
Yeah.
Oh, another case of the Mondays.
In this whole movie full of grade A stars, top tier stars, I think Tess was not casted well.
Okay.
And I just don't think she was able to hold her own as much as she possibly could have if it was another actress.
She was a bigger star in that time period.
Was that Carol Kane?
No.
Glenn Headley.
Who was it?
Yeah.
Do you remember, Ryan? You remember? You're usually good with random actresses.
Yeah, Glenn Headley. St. Andrew said it. You just.
Oh, sorry.
I'm
trying to remember what
she did. She did Mr. Holland's
Opus. Yeah.
Oh, that's where it is.
And Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. And so she was kind of popular at the time. Well, of course, Mr. Holland's Opus came after this, but I know her from, and Sean probably knows her. She was on a couple episodes of Psych or an episode of Psych, and Monk for a while. So.
Getting that USA money.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, she's in ER and stuff. I mean, she's a fine actress. I don't think you're wrong. My favorite part of her entire moment is when she's saying goodbye to Dick Tracy at the beginning when she's got the kid there, and the kid reaches up and grabs the worst looking fake money I've ever seen on a TV show.
But I think it was purposely fake.
Oh, yeah.
There was a big dollar sign on it in the middle or whatever it was. So it was
again
very much a comic.
Yes. And I love that. I love that Warren Beatty even went to like the prop department and said, "We're going to have lots of cash, but I want it to look ridiculous because everything in this world is ridiculous, right?" And I love that. Like, so when he reaches up and grabs the whatever dollar bill it was, and without even missing a beat, he goes, "Hey, are you married?" She goes, "Do you want a broken arm?" Like, I love that. Like, just the threat of that she's going to break this kid's arm was enough for him to toss the money back on the table. That's my favorite part of her.
I don't want to commandeer the show, but there is a couple things I just want to bring up very, very
Please,
quickly,
by all means.
just for the table here, before we move on, and they all kind of had to do with the timing of this film as well. Jason and I were having a little discussion online about this, and I wanted to throw it out for you guys to kind of kick around. But this is Warren Beatty's follow-up to Ishtar, which is known as one of the most disastrous films of all time. Dustin Hoffman came off of that to do Rain Man, but Beatty had done nothing since then. Also, Jason, I don't know if you know this, but Vittorio Storaro shot that film as well.
I do,
and this is his follow-up to that. So, yeah, so it's just weird that, he was trying to make a comeback in this way. I thought it was also weird that he was 52 years old when he made this, trying to start an action franchise. And kind of going through a midlife crisis of sorts. I heard that he was dating Madonna. He married Annette Bening 2 years after this, and he's been happily married ever since. But the timing of this coming off of Ishtar. And then Madonna as well was coming right after this film. She went to go do Truth or Dare in 91, became this huge sex pot and leaned into that image of herself. And then right after that in 92 did A League of Their Own. And completely became a legitimate actress, kind of following on the heels of all of that. So, which I really love that film.
I find that
it's great.
It's very interesting to go from Madonna to Annette Bening.
Right.
Well, yeah. So, and also on that note, that's kind of interesting is from what I understand, it's right around the time that Warren Beatty, who, renowned playboy, right? Like very handsome dude, girl every different day of the week type guy, was in that mode. Like I said, he's older, he's in his 50s, and he's starting to settle down, right? He's probably got this relationship with Annette, and it's starting to go really well. And so apparently he was kind of going through that inner turmoil as well of like, hey, is it time to hang up the playboy cleats and settle down? And so, you see a lot of that come through in the love triangle between, the Tess character and the Madonna's character in there as well. And I think it's interesting because he would go on to eventually choose to settle down. And as Ryan said, that worked out very well, happily married. And I think it's interesting that in the film, Dick Tracy also chooses to settle down, so that may be also reflective of Warren Beatty.
Life imitates art.
Yeah, exactly.
I always think of Annette Bening in Mars Attacks. And it's such
love that movie so much.
It's it's a good movie, but it's such a bad movie at the same time that that's what I
But it's like
associate her
intentionally
with.
so, though.
Yeah. It's supposed to be that way. Yeah. It's kind of a spoof.
While we're on the topic of Madonna, how bonkers was that scene where she was on all fours with the martini on the
And it turns
What
into
in the
Sagittarius all of a
world,
sudden.
right?
That was my WTF moment of the whole movie, where I just kind of I threw my notes on the ground. I was like, well, I'm just winging it. I got nothing.
He has
I don't know.
Dick Tracy has far greater what's the word?
Control?
Self-control, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
no,
amen.
So this is my moment that you had with that, Ryan. It was like right before that, and it's actually some dialogue. So it's right before Madonna shows up to Dick Tracy's office, and Tess, the future wife character, says, "Hey, I'm gonna go get us some ice cream. I'll be back." She leaves, and then some time passes, and then there's a knock on Dick Tracy's door, and he's like, Tess, you've come back with the ice cream. What flavor did you bring me?" And he opens the door, and it's Madonna. And she's standing there and looks him dead in the eye and says, "Peach, you better eat it now. It's starting to run a little."
Yeah.
That is not acceptable for a
No.
That's
Not at all.
graphic.
Wow.
You can make the argument that like kids don't know but still, that's not a Pixar like, get it, parents? Like that's
Right.
for the law.
Now, this
Right.
film is rated PG, by the way.
That's what I said.
Again, this is
Rated
before
PG.
that PG-13.
No,
became-
PG-13
Is it
was
not?
a thing.
Had been out for years.
Oh,
I know
okay.
because
That
we
was
actually
Temple of
talked about-
Doom
It
right?
was
Temple
actually
of
That's right. That's right. It was Temple of Doom.
as
Yeah.
No,
well. Yes.
Gremlins.
Yeah, because a bunch of
Gremlins?
there was only PG or R, and so they initially gave Gremlins an R, and they're like, "Look, there's no blood, there's no language. Like, how can you give us an R?" And they're like, "Well, I guess you're right. we'll give you the PG. And then Warner Brothers was like, sweet, PG Christmas movie. Market the hell out of it as such. Cut to all these children crying in the middle of the theater. And they're like, I think we need to come up with an in-between. And they're like, okay, let's go PG-13.
That sounds about right.
I was always taught that Temple of Doom was the movie where they were like, yep, this needs to be the next thing, and that Gremlins was the like the one that were like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was always taught that Temple of Doom was the thing, and then Gremlins was like the first PG-13 or something like that.
I think it's flipped because Gremlins is PG, and I think Temple of Doom is PG-13. So it might be a thing where Gremlins inspired the PG-13,
right?
Be then given to
Temple of Doom was the first one to get the rating. Yeah.
Yeah.
Either way, this deserved a PG-13 rating.
Yeah.
We can all agree on that.
I mean, there's nipples.
Yeah.
There's
not
flat
warm
out
babies.
breasts.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
not even just nipples. It's whole ass breasts. You can see them clear as day.
Yep, they are there. I paused it.
Yeah, you did.
It's gonna be in one of those most paused scenes in movie history things.
Okay. I can't get past you just said whole ass breasts. That's a great line. Okay.
we just got your show a PG-13 rating right there.
Yep.
Boom.
This is what people come for. Articulate what I'm saying, Jason. Is this it? Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Hey, you didn't invite us on for a
breasts.
PG rating. That's not
We're
what we're going to
poet
bring.
laureate, sir.
No, you're right. I did not. Okay. Time for some clips. I have some clips. Anybody else have anything else to say for the good of the order before I play clips? No? Okay, good. Time for this.
Clips.
So, you know, I'll call up Sam every now and then. I'll say, hey, Sam, what's going on? And sometimes Sam is just in a bad mood, and this is what he said to me today.
Go suck an egg.
It's very strange. Also, I don't know why your voice sounds like that, but it is.
Yeah. As a 5-year-old, I remember being told, you do not say that to adults.
Yeah.
You do not say that's not okay.
Yeah, not okay. Okay. This made me laugh.
Sam, get these fingerprinted.
Flat top and itchy for what?
I want to find Lips Man was fast.
With a handful of walnuts? Yeah, with a handful of walnuts? Walnuts?
Again, I don't know why that works for me.
Speaking of walnuts, this episode is sponsored again by Manscaped 4.0. Lawnmower 4.0.
Oh, wow.
I know one thing I like is a strong scrotum.
Speaking of Al Pacino, sorry, Robert De Niro playing Al Pacino screaming, here's some of that right now.
I say you say nothing. I say, you get behind me, we all profit. You challenge me, we all go down. There was one Napoleon, one Washington, one me.
Could you imagine being the sound guy for that man? It would be a nightmare.
No, thank you.
Ryan, you're like, I'm sorry, Mr. Pacino, we overmodulated again.
That was 13 times, Ryan.
Just turn the microphone down. Like it's like him and Jim Carrey, I would imagine, would be nightmares to like be sound guys for.
Set your limiters. Set your limiters,
Williams.
folks.
Yeah, Robin Williams a little bit. I don't know if he got as loud as either of those other two guys, but maybe. Apparently, this movie was interjected a little bit by Judge Dredd. So here you go.
You have just said goodbye to oxygen. You silly, stupid cunt. You refuse me. I offer you the keys to a kingdom, and you tell me you're an officer of the law. I am the law.
There you go.
Nice. And you know that
Also,
Judge Dredd was originally a comic graphic novel, so you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
A little bit of Jack Nicholson in there too. I am the Shore Patrol.
Yeah, I was looking to see if I had that or not, but I don't have it handy. That's okay, no problem. I just like this because I love the fact that we've got, oh gosh, I'm about to pull a Sam here. I can't remember his name. Mumbles.
Joe Pesci.
Dustin
Hoffman. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sam got it right. I love his laugh. This just cracks me up. I don't know why. It just does.
What do you think, Mumbles?
Big Boy did it. Big Boy did it. Big Boy did it. Big Boy did it.
Still going. Okay, it's done.
So is that the equivalent of zooming in on a
Zoom
like
in
a
and enhance?
CTV camera, right?
I wonder if he and Mandy Patinkin kind of had like a laugh off, because Mandy Patinkin had a weird laugh too.
I didn't capture it, but you're right. It's a ridiculous laugh. Yeah.
So bad.
It's almost distractingly bad because Pacino is having to like yell over Patinkin's scream. You know, his ridiculous laugh. It's kind of interesting. Again, more of the same kind of bit where the guys have to repeat stuff.
So what do we do? Grab 88 keys or go straight for Big Boy?
Yeah, Tracy, what do we do? Grab 88 keys or go straight for Big Boy?
The enemy of my enemy, my friend? Or the enemy of my friend, my enemy?
What?
Or the enemy of my enemy, my enemy?
What did he say?
The enemy of my enemy is my enemy.
He said the enemy of his enemy is his enemy.
Oh.
There you go.
Yeah. Were those party favors in the background?
Yeah, right that last second there.
Okay.
It's the New Year's
I was
Eve
like,
thing.
okay, Danny Elfman, that's all right. And then I heard kazoos.
Yeah, no, it's the New Year's Eve party.
Maybe your kid's awake again.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was true.
He exchanged his harmonica for a kazoo.
Yeah.
This is the last one. You can make a pretty funny sexual innuendo here. I'm not going to do it because I am more highbrow than that, but here you go.
A man without a plan is not a man. Nietzsche. Wait a minute. Wait. I'm having a thought. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I'm gonna have a thought. It's coming. It's gone.
What in the world? I mean, was that in the script? It couldn't have been in the script. I mean, right? It just makes no.
I almost feel like that
sense.
was one of those moments where he forgot the line.
Yeah.
And he was just improvising, and they were like, that actually kind of works.
Yeah, I think
You might be right. Yeah. I hope you're right.
You know what I loved about this moment though is like I don't know if we have any like other huge Dumb and Dumber fans here in the room, but yeah, there's a line where Jim Carrey uses that exact joke where they're talking about it. He's talking to Jeff Daniels and he's like, "Okay, so wait a minute, I think, yes, I just had a thought. Okay, so here's what we do." And same joke. And I was like, "Wow, Jim Carrey just totally jacked a joke from Dick Tracy. Go figure."
One of my favorite like moments in that, like if we're making the assumption that he actually just forgot the line but did this, one of my favorite moments is in Lemony Snicket's A Series of Unfortunate Events, where Jim Carrey screws up the line, and he says, "Nope, hold up, let's rewind that. We're gonna reset," and he does it and then does the line, but he stayed in character. And so they used it because it was funny. I like little moments like that. So before we get into the trivia game, we're going to start doing promotions on the show. You've heard a few of them at the end of the episode. I'm going to start putting them here right before the trivia game, as if to say that, well, they are sponsoring the trivia game. So this week, here are our sponsors.
Hey, it's Ebony, and you may know me from such podcasts as the Gruesome Twosome Movie Reviews. But did you know I also have a solo podcast? That's right, the Sweet and Sour Nuggies podcast, with one episode on short life stories of the sweet and sour variety, and the other Mental Health Mondays to be your guide to everything mental health and more. So grab your nuggies and follow us at SS Nuggies Pod on both Twitter and Instagram. Sweet and Sour Nuggies podcast, available on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Good Pods, and more. Now readily available for your listening pleasure.
Hey everybody, I'm Jess.
And I'm Ebony.
And we are
the Gruesome Twosome Movie Reviews.
We are about the wacky, the wonderful,
the weird,
the strange,
the unusual,
the gore,
the up,
the actors, the connection,
the theatre,
the passion, the love. Pretty much everything that
comes
film
with
represents. Yeah. But if it's on a screen, we are there. We are reviewing. We love snacks. We love people. We love love.
We just love film.
We love film.
So come join us on the couch.
If you're as crazy as film as we are, come join us and have a good time with us. See you soon, my loves.
Bye.
All right. Time for this.
And now for some more bad news. Ready?
This is our trivia game, which is not really a trivia game. It's more like a Did You Notice, right? Isn't that what we called it, Andrew? Did you notice?
Yeah, that's what we call it.
Did you notice? I will, well, here are the rules. Basically, we're going to make Jason and Ryan play against each other in a game of Did You Notice? And I will select at random here people that retweeted our post here and let them, you're going to basically play for those people. And that person's going to be, let's see, random number one is going to be, so Ryan, you're going to be playing for Abigail from the Manic Pixie Weirdo podcast. And Jason, you are going to play for, let's see, they've already won and they've already won. So you're going to be playing for Two Idiots and a Dog.
I got y'all. Let's do this. I'm gonna strap you guys on my back.
That's right. I got the score here, so we're good. All right.
Okay, so I did a flip of the coin, and Ryan, you're going to go first.
All right, let's see how this goes. This movie washed over me like a fever dream on Robitussin, so I don't know how good I'm going to be at this. This is more of an experience.
So I'm going to ask a pretty easy question to start off with. If you get it, you get a point. If not, it's going to go to Jason. If Jason knows the answer, he'll get the point. So here we go. How many times does the kid ask the question, when do we eat?
Closest without going over? Like if I take a stab at this, how does this work?
Yeah, I mean, it's a right or wrong answer, so you go for it.
Got it. We're going to go for 10.
No. All right, Jason, give it a shot.
I'm half that, 5.
It is 5 exactly.
Oh, wow. 2 idiots and a dog. You are welcome.
All right, question number 2. This goes to Jason. Big Boy quotes 4 famous historical figures. Nietzsche is one, as Sean has mentioned in the clip. You wouldn't
have picked up on that.
Who are 3 others? Name all 3, please.
Oh, jeez, dude, I'm gonna be lucky to get you one. So I'm just gonna go out there and throw Descartes, Jung, and Kierkegaard.
What?
Okay, Ryan. let's see what you got.
I seem to remember Plato being one of them. Freud has to be one of them because of all the sexual references. That's had to be thrown in. I couldn't even tell you the third. Go ahead.
The 3 other that were mentioned were Jefferson, Lincoln, and Benjamin Franklin.
Oh, those aren't philosophers at all.
Oh, yeah.
You really threw for a loop with the Nietzsche thing. You got me going.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
I was going. Yeah, correct.
That one was kind of weird. All right, so back to Ryan. In the opening scene of the movie, there are 4 items on a desk. What are they?
I know this.
Items on a desk.
In the opening scene, the first scene we see
the audio
after,
clip that I
after
played.
the
audio clip that I played is from that scene.
Right,
I remember one of them. Yeah.
A radio?
Yes.
Is it his watch and a newspaper and a? It's not his hat. That'd be hanging up on the wall.
All right, let's go. Let's go on to Jason.
Yeah, go ahead, Jason.
All right.
Radio, watch, newspaper, telephone.
Radio, watch, gun, and I think was the last one his badge.
Yes, it was his badge. Yes. Yeah. All right.
That's a little unfair
question.
because I just watched that scene like an hour and a half ago to pull the clip. So.
That's true. All right. Question number 4. Who was that one to? Ryan. So this one goes to Jason. Flowers were delivered to Dick Tracy along with a letter that was supposedly from Tess. What kind of flowers were they?
I remember this.
Tulips.
Not tulips.
I remember
Ryan.
this one.
Oh, it should have been, though. That would have been the greatest entendre.
Two lips, you say?
Sending my 2 lips to you. They were roses. No, go ahead.
Were they lilies?
They were
Yes,
lilies. Yeah.
I would have gotten that one. All right.
Because he says, "What do you want me to do with these lilies? Put them in some water?" Yeah.
Yep. All right, and then the last question. This is going to go to Ryan. On his way back home, after speaking with Breathless in her black lingerie, a white van drives by on screen. What is written on that van?
Wow.
I'll give you a hint. It's one word.
Oh, I know what it is. I remember now.
Do you?
Yeah.
It's not.
All right, I'm gonna give you a hint because this is fun.
Yeah, go ahead, Sean. Go ahead.
Just think 1930s, a white delivery van.
Yeah, was it milk? I was gonna say
It's
milk.
milk. It's
Oh,
milk.
I was gonna say
That
milk.
was about it good.
All right, so
we have a
so
tie.
you're tied. We have a tie, and I actually have one more question. I always have 6 just in case there is a tie. So the way the tiebreaker is going to work is I'm going to ask a question, and you call out your name if you know the answer, and whoever gets it first gets this question.
Family Feud rules. Got it.
Yeah. So, how many of Big Boy's henchmen at the final scene where we're all sitting around the table are women?
Jason.
All right, Jason.
None.
Ryan.
Incorrect. Ryan. One.
It's right behind you.
It was
over
0
your
or
left
1.
shoulder.
It took the shot.
See, okay, here's the funny thing. I was actually looking, and my square stops at the guy with the dead face in red. So I can't see.
Catherine O'Hara from
O'Hara.
Schitt's Creek
Yes.
and
Wow.
Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice.
She is the one female henchman. So there.
I actually I saw that because Macaulay Culkin was up for Kids role, but he took Home Alone instead, starring Catherine O'Hara. But she still got the cameo in this movie somehow, which is cool.
Yeah.
Because they both dropped in the same year.
Yeah. So Ryan is our winner tonight. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Good job, Ryan.
Good job, Ryan.
Awesome.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys.
Oh, that's fun. And
Sorry, dog idiots.
That's okay, which is funny because Abigail is our winner, and next week she is our guest. So
Hey.
Wow.
I will mail her gifts then. All right, time for this.
Excuse me while I whip this out.
This is where we do our top three. Our top three category this week is we can either do movies in general or characters with really great makeup / prosthetics. All right, so that's kind of the idea that we're going for. We're trying to stay away from like the CGI stuff. We're looking for people, real people with just awesome makeup and prosthetics on their bodies to enhance the character. And I will let Sam go first.
All right. So I actually have an honorable mention for whoever did the makeup in Monster on Charlie Theron.
Charlie? Okay.
Charlize Theron.
Sure. You're close.
And somehow made her ugly in that movie because that's virtually impossible to do. But my real three. Number 3, I have the makeup on Ian Malcolm in The Fly.
Ian Malcolm, yeah.
And then I've got Lord of the Rings, the original Lord of the Rings, not Hobbit.
Like the Ralph Bashki animated?
No, he means he's talking about.
Yeah, exactly. That. And my number 1 has to go to a movie that I'm trying to get on this show to watch. It's subtitled, which is hard. Pan's Labyrinth.
Jurassic Park.
Jurassic, yeah. I mean, they did okay in that.
I think we did Jurassic Park. Cool. All right.
So, that's my 3.
All right, Ryan.
Well, I chose Brundlefly as well, so I'm going to go default to my backup. I figured Jason and I were going to hit that one together because we've been looking for an excuse to watch The Fly. We covered a couple of Cronenberg films already. So I'm going to go with Hellboy.
Okay,
we'll just go to another Guillermo del Toro classic. And then I'm going to go with Michael Rooker's character in Slither by James Gunn.
Yeah.
By the end, he's a totally mutant face and whatnot, with half his teeth showing in the whole bit. And then the iconic, my childhood iconic character with facial prosthetics, Robert Englund in Nightmare on Elm Street as Freddy Krueger.
Oh, the burns. Yeah. Okay. Nice.
Cool.
Solid.
All right, Jason.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and give a honorable mention shout out to Howie Mandel from Little Monsters.
Little Monsters, wow.
Well played, well played.
So I am actually going movies, but I'll because there's some crossover for a minute. We'll go both.
Yeah.
The first is a film that Ryan and I looked at and we adore like no other, so much so that we opened season 2 with it. Peter Jackson's Dead Alive. And that's not any one creature. That's literally just all the creatures, all the zombies leading up to the giant mom creature that's the size of a house at the end.
Love it. Get a bucket.
Yes.
Nice.
And the second that I have is actually a movie that I don't know if it's not quite as popular. It's actually Stuart Gordon. It's his follow-up to Reanimator called From Beyond. And I don't know if any of you have seen this. No. It's actually based on an H.P. Lovecraft, and it deals with this guy who basically taps into this signal that if you expand your pineal gland, it opens you up to this like dimension that exists beyond the ether, and then he basically starts to become like this giant grotesque monster slowly but surely, kind of in like a Hellraiser or a lot of these types of things, right?
I expand my pineal gland all the time.
Especially in the morning. I wake up and it's always expanded. And number 3, okay, not the movie. This might be a controversial take. For number 3, I have The Thing from John Carpenter's The Thing, but it's not the movie John Carpenter's The Thing. It is the creation The Thing within the movie John Carpenter's The Thing, because the movie The Thing is overrated. There, I said it.
Oh.
There's your hot take for the day, Sean.
Okay.
Oh, hotter take. John Carpenter is the single most overrated filmmaker out there. There you go.
Jason's just on a world tour, just going around telling people this. He just can't wait to go on shows and just wreck everyone's fun time about
My
John
guilty
Carpenter.
pleasure recently has been the Halloween movies. So,
I mean, it was okay, and I'm sure. Now, here's the thing. My understanding is that the slasher didn't really exist before that, and if that's the case, more power to you. But like, he's such a lazy filmmaker, and people just don't understand this. Like, that guy. That if he could just cover the entire movie in nothing but wide shots and get the hell out of there as quickly as possible, he really already does that pretty much as it is. Coverage? Nah, we don't need coverage. Close-ups? Can you all just stand together? We'll get all 7 of you at once, and I'll just let the camera run, and then we can go do blow and get out of here. Like, close-ups? You know how long it's going to take to get close-ups?
You feel better now, bud? You okay?
Much better.
All right.
Exercise.
Cool.
Right. So
sorry about that,
from
guys.
The thing, not
it's a thing he does. I apologize to everybody listening. He's just got to get it out there. He's got to get it out of the system.
It's funny.
I'm banging my hand on my desk right now.
It's funny. Our guest that'll be coming on our 4th week for the Evil Bunny Rabbit movie. She also kind of hates, and not kind of, like very much hates the Halloween movies. Think they're very overrated and not scary and whatever. And like she does a horror podcast, so
oh wow,
I would take her whatever. Though again, we just watched those. We just watched Halloween 1 and then Halloween 2018 and then Halloween Kills, not like back in October for other podcasts. And I think we all said Halloween the original is good. Halloween 2018 really good. Halloween Kills is god awful.
Really?
No,
yeah.
We all kind of hated that movie.
It totally. The momentum was there, but man, it fell flat.
It did.
Yeah.
Well, my retort to Jason is always Big Trouble, Little China.
Yeah.
I have to represent that film.
That's a lot of fun.
Movie.
And it scores some easy points because everybody loves that movie, and of course they're going to jump on your side. It's like I'm basically like it's this and it's Tucker and Dale all over again, but I don't have you by my side.
Oh right, you guys were the Tucker and Dale
we're
podcast.
The two assholes that hate Tucker and Dale.
Oh
ahead,
no,
lay it on us. Used to it,
dude.
We're
Tucker
so
and Dale
used
was
to
amazing.
it. Come on.
We love Tucker. This is a Tucker friendly show.
Guys, please have us back on sometime when we have more time so we can discuss this. I don't want to go on another hour rant. I know we don't have time for this.
You made the
joke.
joke.
Like to discuss this with you.
You made the joke earlier, like we didn't bring you on here because we want to keep things PG. I literally brought you. I actually invited you on after listening to that episode. And I was like, oh, I want to have these guys on the show. And it just so happened that then Jason and I would get teamed up together on America's Next Top Podcaster, which was really fun.
Yeah,
so
super fun.
But anyway, yeah, your take on Tucker and Dale was really interesting to me because, like,
it's wrong.
Well, it's not that it's wrong. It's your opinion. It's your opinion. I don't care about your opinion. I just thought it was really interesting. Like you had like these really.
I don't care about your opinion, Sean. How about that, buddy?
It's fine. That's your opinion too. Like I was gonna give you some props, but never mind. Don't listen to that episode. They're horrible people. They beat women, children, and dogs. So don't listen to their show. All right.
Oh, wow.
I was gonna say something nice about you, but not anymore. No.
Stick around for the hip hop homage to the country store that I do in that episode. I worked hard on that.
Honestly, I'm just kind of glad it's Ryan this time. I'm the one that's always screwing things up for us. So.
My top three, I went pretty generic because, again, I forgot to do them before the show, and I was doing them during the show. So Beetlejuice is my number 3.
Oh, brilliant.
Tight work.
And then
Tight work.
Number 2, I'm just going to say Star Wars A New Hope because all of, like, the dudes in the cantina, like, that was, I mean, a lot of that's puppetry, but there's still a lot of kind of fun prosthetics and makeup, and there's just a lot of fun stuff throughout that whole movie. Anyway,
I mean, Chewbacca for crying out loud. I mean, that's cool.
Yeah, well, that's a suit. I guess it's not really makeup or prosthetics. It's
Well,
just a
and they
suit,
painted
but-
that guy gold
effects, though.
in the robot outfit.
Yeah,
so
he was. Yeah,
he was totally.
And they made poor Kenny Baker look like a droid. Also, not sure how they did that.
Yeah, yeah.
None of those things are real. But like some of the other movies are really good at that too. I mean, Empire Strikes Back has got some more aliens, and obviously, I think Return of the Jedi probably has the most just aliens.
That first half hour.
Yeah. Well, even like Akbar and like whatever, like like there's a lot of again that's just suit. I guess that's prosthetics, right? I guess that counts. So that's my number 2 is Star Wars, and then I was trying to nail down a Star Trek movie that I think had probably the best on this, and so I went with Star Trek 6 because again that movie has a lot of different aliens at one time when they're on the prison planet. There's like aliens, it's all over the place, and so I went with Star Trek 6. Andrew.
Awesome.
All right, I have The Darkest Hour with Gary Oldman as
Prime Minister
Winston Churchill.
I'm Winston Churchill.
Winston Churchill.
I have The Nutty Professor with Eddie Murphy.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, the fat suits.
Rick Baker.
Yeah. And then number 1, I have Mrs. Doubtfire with Robin Williams.
Nice.
Hello.
Help is on the way.
It was a run by fruiting.
Wait, if we're doing accents, can I please get one other person to give me an Al Pacino? I don't care who it is. Come on,
Andrew.
Yeah.
No, I don't do a Pacino.
Yeah.
No.
I'm gonna come back to this.
Do you do a De Niro? Because apparently they're very similar.
It's one of
I
the
don't
same.
know. It's kind of the same thing. The Pacino.
That's good. We'll do it. We'll do it.
That's not bad.
It's
not bad.
It's not terrible. I don't really focus on it though.
Yeah, you just kind of turned a little bit into like Ben Affleck trying to do mobster a little bit there. Little.
Yeah. Wait. Isn't Ben Affleck Australian though?
Yeah,
according to Sam, he is.
Is he really?
No, just
He was like from Chicago or some shit.
He's from
Boston.
The one
Boston.
accent that Sam has ever tried to do was Ben Affleck, and it came out Australian.
Nice.
I don't know what you're talking about. We had Ben Affleck on the show. He was there. I saw him.
Here's the thing. First of all, like, who has a less distinctive voice than Ben Affleck? You're just
Good day, mate.
Yeah.
Let's get a shrimp on the barbie.
This is like, hi, I'm Ben Affleck. That's Ben Affleck.
Yeah. No, according to Sam, he's Australian, and it was.
He works at the Outback.
Hi, mate. It's me, Ben Affleck.
Yeah, that's exactly what it sounded like. That's exactly it.
Exactly.
It's like he's here with us again.
You are not wrong.
Oh my gosh.
That's great.
All right. Twitter, we had a couple on Twitter. Jesse from Sudden But Inevitable says Lord of the Rings trilogy, The Thing, and Star Trek Beyond. Let's see. On my way, fam. He is at Rui for the Ace 85 says Penguin from Batman, Fat Thor Avengers, and Data from Star Trek. Two Idiots and a Dog says Hellboy, Pan's Labyrinth, and The Shape of Water. So he likes some Del Toro there.
I was going to say, I wonder if there's a thread between those three.
Cam from Green Shirt, the Green Shirt 87 at Green Shirt 87 says An American Werewolf in London, Hellraiser, and Legend. And then he says, you know what? I'm going to swap out Legend for Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Yeah, I almost said Guardians of the Galaxy because there's so much good makeup done in that one. Yeah.
Taser face.
See, that was so close to Al Pacino.
Yeah.
Taser face.
That's exactly.
That is absolutely perfect.
That is amazing. All right, time for.
Wait, what's supposed to happen?
Well, Daniel Radcliffe, this is where we give this movie a score from 0 to 10. And I will, again, Andrew goes first.
Yeah, IMDb gives this a 6.2 out of 10. I'm going to have to go a little bit higher. I think it's a well done film. I think it's a good translation between comic strip and media, a different form of media. And I'm going to give this an 8.
Oh, wow.
Out of 10.
Nice.
Yeah, just a solid 8.
That's crazy. Just curious, Andrew, what would you have given about said Waterworld? Watchmen last week.
Watchmen would probably have been at a 6 somewhere in that maybe 6.7.
Oh, I gave it a 6. So,
wow.
If
I guess that's why you guys like Tucker and Dale.
If you gave
my man,
if you gave it a 6.7, that gives that movie an average of 7.1. So, now you're gonna make me do it. You're gonna make me do it. All right. So Tucker and Dale. Let's see. How long ago was that movie, guys?
Oh man, that was top 100, I think, wasn't it?
Oh,
yeah, it was up there.
Tucker and Dale. I gotta find it. Damn it.
That was actually before I came on the show, so it was before 100.
Yeah.
Control F.
Yeah,
everyone takes it so personally every time.
Tucker and Dale was a 7.75.
It's like I just made fun of your mama. Like this is like a your mama joke.
Well, yeah. Well, dude, you guys, you should go listen to our Princess Bride episode. You would have think that Andrew and I shat on the graves of little children or something. I mean, Jesse was not happy with Andrew and barely tolerated me. So,
I mean, that at least has intrinsic nostalgia value attached to it for a lot of people, but Tucker and Dale doesn't. That movie just came out a few years ago.
It should, though.
Okay.
It's an instant cult classic. You should all go listen to their episode on it and then tell them how much they're wrong. But
did you guys do an episode on it?
Yeah, I just told you.
Okay, I'll have to go back and look. Okay, I'll have to go back and listen to that.
I don't recommend you do that.
That's fair.
That was a long time ago. Our show sounds so different back then. That was again, I think that was, I just found it, but it was what episode was that? Episode number 40 something? 41. Yeah.
Yeah, that's back when we were again in black and white before Technicolor.
Yeah, I'm surprised though, man. Like we feel the same way about like our first 10 episodes probably, and like they still get pretty solid listens.
Yeah. I don't know how I could go back and look at the ratings. What we gave that movie a 7.754. So
okay,
there you go.
Yeah,
Tucker and Dale.
Yeah.
But now it's
I've been wrong about things before too. So
well, yeah, obviously. Let's see. What would you? So the way my math works, I have to have you guys give a collective score. So Jason, what is your score?
So I am giving this one not quite Andrew level, but just underneath at 7.5.
7.5
out of 10.
Okay, Ryan.
Yep.
Also 7.5.
Oh, that makes my life so much easier.
Man.
Yeah. Okay.
You should have made him do some math. That would have been better.
If you would have said 7.25, I would have been a little frustrated. Okay, Sam.
Prime number 7.3 and 7.7. God damn it, that just makes out to 7.5. This is why I'm not a math major.
Sam.
All right. I am obviously the dissenting opinion on this case, so I got to give it a 5.5.
Wow.
I didn't like it. I didn't like it. Yeah.
That's fine.
Sorry.
I probably
Vega.
would have given it 5.5 when I was like 8 or whatever that first time I saw it.
Yeah.
I get it. You know?
Yeah, I probably would have too, honestly, if you would have asked me this. Heck, if you would have asked me this, 10 or 15 years ago, like college age me would have said, "Oh, Dick Tracy was terrible. It had like one scene and that guy was eating oysters or whatever." Like I don't remember much from it. But I had such a good time with this. So I'm just going to cop out and also say a 7.5 because it makes the math work.
Cool.
And that gives us a cumulative score of 7.125. And I am okay with that. I am okay that Dick Tracy is ranked higher than Watchmen. Okay?
Wow.
God,
you know what? I'll
no.
bet you Warren Beatty's probably totally cool with the 7.1 as well.
Yeah, it's parked right
better than it was
underneath.
received at the time it came out.
Yeah,
I think that's what this movie deserves. 7.15.
Yeah, feels accurate. Feels
I'll
solid.
go with that.
Yeah, it's parked right under movies like The King's Man that we've done recently, and The Conjuring 2, and Trick or Treat. I'm okay with that. I think that's fine.
Yeah.
I think that's those are.
Did you guys
fine.
Did you guys see Roger Ebert gave this 4 stars?
Nice. No, I
Did you
didn't see
really?
that, but
Wow.
Apparently.
good for him.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but he likes crap movies though.
Well,
That's fair.
does he? I don't know.
He's an interesting dude. He always beats or dances to the beat of his own drum or whatever the expression is. He gave the Spawn movie 3.5 out of 4 stars.
That's unusual. Well,
Weird.
that's
Yeah.
a bad movie. That's a bad.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. That's it. That's our show. Usually I do say something. We did kind of mention the score being Danny Elfman, and it was great. I do have in my notes a spot for soundtrack grade, but it had been so long since I've actually done it. I'm just going to delete it right here on air. Look at that. Gone. Guys, this has been so much fun. This is where you now take the opportunity to tell our listeners where they can find your show and listen to your stuff. Because even though we disagree on a particular movie, you have a lot of other episodes that are great, and they should find them where?
Yeah, so we are available on all of the major streaming platforms. So whether that is iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google, you name it, we're on there. We even just got ourselves added to some, what is it called? Ghana? It's like an Indian directory or something like that. So
And Amazon.
yeah. Oh, and Amazon. Yeah,
We're crushing
some
on
nice
Amazon
growth
right
on Amazon podcasts for
Yeah.
some reason. So yeah, literally anywhere you listen to podcasts. We also have a website, esotericacinema.com. We've got a web player on there, and we also have access to our master list of films. So kind of similar to you, Sean, like we'll look at pretty much any movie under the sun in terms of genre and all of that. We're just really bad at making decisions. So what we decided to do is take all the movies that we might want to watch, put them on a master list numbered 1 through 200, and then we have a random number generator that we pull from at the end of every episode. And whatever number it pulls is the movie we watch. So every week, we're never really sure what movie we're going to be looking at, but you can be certain that it's probably going to be something that exists outside of the mainstream. We tend to look at some of those smaller films, more independent films, classic films, older films, basically anything that's not a huge summer blockbuster. We'll got it. So yeah, go ahead and check us out. Esoterica Cinema. We know it's a mouthful, but make sure to get that A in there.
And on Twitter and on Instagram as well. Come see us and say hi. And our personals are kind of tethered to those as well, so you could find us through there.
Awesome. Thank you very much. And of course, I'll link your stuff in our show notes. That's it. That's our show, right? I can't think of anything else meaningful to say.
I mean, really, other than just thanking you guys for having us on. This
Yeah,
has been
thank
a
you very,
blast,
very
man.
much.
Like, first of all, just an excuse to watch this movie. This is 100% not a movie I would have gone back and watched, and I'm
Fair.
really glad that I did. And I think it's also, I think most people are kind of in that mentality. So, you know, if someone's like, hey, what's a movie I should consider watching that I'd never watch? You're like, dude, I got you. Hold on. And if you don't trust me, go listen to Cheap Seat. So, yeah, man, like, you know, we had a blast. Really appreciate the opportunity. So thanks, man.
Absolutely. Again,
thanks
thank
for
you
joining
guys
us.
for coming on. We are Cheap Seat Reviews. Go to cheapseatreviews.libsyn.com. There you can find links to all the stuff. Go buy some merch. You know it would be super duper awesome if everyone listening right now pulled out their phone or whatever device that they're listening to and left us a review on either Spotify, which now can do reviews if you listen to a show long enough, or Apple Podcasts. Those are kind of the best places to help rank us up. I have a goal, ladies and gentlemen. We will be a top 100 podcast in America in TV film category. That is the goal. We're right around 400. I want to get to 100. I need your help to do it. You guys have the power to make that a thing. I believe in you. So please help us out. Leave us a review, 5-star review, two or three sentences, super simple. We love you guys. Thank you so much for doing that. Next week, like I said, we're doing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, and I'm looking forward to doing that, though maybe I shouldn't be. I don't know. There you go. That's our show. Thank you so much for listening. So on behalf of Ryan, Jason, Andrew, and Sam, this is Sean saying thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next week.
This is Cheap Seat Reviews.